Well, hello everybody and welcome to another edition of In Pit Lane. Well, as you can see, we're not in the studio. We're in fact at the Mr Boogie Man Bar here in Hoddle Street, Collingwood. And lining up behind us right now, setting up for tonight, is our band for tonight, Mark Gardner and The Great Divide. And we'll have some music from them a little bit later on in the program. And of course, look, tonight's a bit of a potpourri, as they call it, which basically means we have no idea what you're going to see, but you are going to see some stuff from Phillip Island and all sorts of things, including the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. The only consistent thing about conditions last weekend at Phillip Island was the unrelenting gale force wind rolling across Bass Strait all the way from Antarctica. Outside of that, there were brief moments of sunshine, light showers, torrential rain, hail, thunder, lightning, and pretty much every known natural disaster short of earthquakes, volcanic eruption, and the announcement of a new wacky game show format on the 7 network. The meeting featured the opening round of the Victorian Under 2 Litre Sports Sedan Series, with the conditions throwing up 3 unpredictable races. Stephen Howard's Corolla won the first race on a drying track, but Sunday saw conditions worsen even more, leaving Ian McDougall in the Mini to win races 2 and 3. Hugo Simpson won the XL Trophy feature, with Travis Jones taking out the Masters. The meeting also featured the Pyark Super Sprint, which once again saw a diverse range of cars take to the famous track, including 2 of these locally built and designed Hyper Racer X cars.
Hyper Racer X1 is a lightweight open-wheeler powered by a Hayabusa Suzuki Superbike engine. It's very light, 390 kilos. It's got big aero, as you can see behind me, ground effects tunnels, the whole bit, so it's got a lot of fun. So we built a car called the Pro Racer, which was a small superkart style car for 10 years. And this is really the evolution of that, just bigger and meaner in every way. We can't win tunnel tests in Australia very easily, unfortunately, but it's really been just the years and years we've been looking at everything in motorsport, and all the things that have been done have led us to create something. We wanted to make a lot of downforce. It's not the most efficient design ever, you know, slippery, low drag wise, but it makes a lot of downforce. It looks cool, which was a big factor for us. All the cars are the same, so the racing's still competitive. We end up with what that is. We've got 3 more in production at the moment, so by the end of this year will be 6 cars. Plan for the future is lots of just track days and sprint events and hill climbs and all that kind of stuff, but we will look at racing soon. We can race in the Australian Prototype Series. After the end of this year, once we've got a few more cars, we can look at our options of what might happen with the one-make class.
Safety car in, we go green in Rome as Stoffel van Dorn plunges down to the bottom of the hill, the left-hander at turn 3.
The 3rd and 4th rounds of the Formula E Championships were run on the streets of Rome last weekend, with wins to John-Eric Verne and Stoffel van Dorn. Verne won a dramatic first race that ended under safety car conditions after race leader Lucas de Grassi triggered a crash that took out Van Dorn. Van Dorn bounced back the next day to fight his way from 4th to the front, holding on for victory in round 4. Alexander Sims was a close second, with Porsche's Pascal Wehrlein taking the final spot on the podium after Norman Nato was disqualified for energy overuse. Pole sitter New Zealand's Nick Cassidy spun out of contention on the opening lap, while Drivers' Championship leader Sam Bird and Nick De Vries took each other out of the race as they fought over top 10 points. Despite the non-finish, Bird leaves Rome still atop the driver's table, with Jaguar teammate Kiwi Mitch Evans narrowly behind in 2nd spot.
We're underway.
Martin Truex Jr. became the first multiple winner of the season with victory in the rain-delayed NASCAR Martinsville 500. Truex Jr. raced past Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Denny Hamlin on lap 485 of the 500-lap race, going on to win from Chase Elliott, who also passed Hamlin late in the race.
It was pretty incredible at the end there. Bass Pro Toyota. James and the guys really hung with me all day. We never could quite get it the way we wanted. It started getting dark and she came to life. So I can't believe we won here again after not even the dominant car today for sure, but that was a lot of fun there at the end, racing with Denny, and we raced clean and we were able to come out on top.
The Yokohama GT300, the opening round of the 2021 Super GT Series, took place at the Yokohama International Circuit last Sunday. Despite ongoing corona prevention restrictions like social distancing, fans were back to enjoy the first race at the circuit in 2 years. In GT 500, the winner was the GR Supra driven by Kazuya Yoshima and Kenta Yamashita, who led an all-Toyota podium. In GT 300, class victory went to the Nissan Automobile College GTR of Kyoto Fujinami and João Paulo de Oliveira. He's back. Marc Marquez will return to MotoGP at the upcoming Portuguese Grand Prix. Marquez revealed on Twitter that he'd been given the go-ahead by doctors to resume his career after 9 difficult months. Marquez suffered a badly fractured arm in the 2020 season opener, which ruled him out for the year. The Spaniard made a brief attempt to come back to competitive racing, however doctors ruled him out for the first 2 rounds of this season. All that remains now is to see just how competitive the 6-time champion will be after his long layoff. Either way, an already exciting MotoGP season just became even more interesting. Bentley may be out of international GT3 racing as a factory team, but they are by no means finished with motorsport, as can be seen by this stunner. This is the company's new challenger for the famous Pikes Peak hill climb. The big feature of this monster, apart from its insane time attack-inspired aero, is the fact that the car will run on an alternative fuel. The highly modified Continental GT3, based on Bentley's race and championship winning car, will power its way through the course running on a biofuel-based blend that Bentley claims will provide for a possible greenhouse gas reduction of up to 85% over standard fossil fuel. 3-time Pikes Peak champion Reece Millen will drive the car in the event on June 27th. And that's the In Pit Lane motorsport news for the week commencing Monday, the 12th of April 2021. We'll have more news next week. Well, did you enjoy the news? Wasn't it fascinating? No? Okay. Why don't you stay tuned, and we're going to go to a break now on Channel 31, but when we come back we'll have more from In Pit Lane, and remember, coming up to take us out on the show, Mark Gardner and The Great Divide. You're watching In Pit Lane. We'll be right back. Argentinian-born racing driver Alejandro Di Tomaso was probably the best-known practitioner of a motoring movement in the 50s and 60s that brought together the ideal blend of classic Italian sports car styling with the simplicity and raw power of the mass-produced American V8. His most famous design was, of course, the Di Tomaso Pantera. The Pantera is a regular on Australian racetracks in the popular Group S historic racing category. A winner of the Australian Sports Car Championship in the hands of Rusty French, the Pantera is quite rightly seen as a modern classic. But this is an entirely different and far rarer beast. It's the Di Tomaso Mangusta, the spiritual predecessor to the Pantera. And this one has arrived in Australia for its new owner, Perry Spiridis.
It's the car before the Pantera, and quite rare, especially as a race car. There were about 400 made, 401 made all up, I think. But race cars, I doubt very much whether there'd be more than 20 of them. So, you know, quite a rare car, something different. So, yeah, we're just getting the feel of it at the moment. This is the first time out, and nothing but problems like usual for a new car, but we're getting on top of them. But thoroughly enjoyable car, especially after the Pantera. The Pantera had more cubic inches, more torque, things like that, but this is lighter, so they're approximately the same.
So tell us a bit about the history of the car. And you also mentioned that that it's a smaller engine, so I take it it's a 302, is it, or a 289?
No, it's a 302. It's basically the exact running gear as a GT40. It's got the ZF gearbox, it's flipped, exactly the same as a GT40, and a small block Ford engine. Brakes, suspension, all that sort of thing. Very, very similar to a GT40. So, yeah. Now, I don't know whether it's true or not, but it's why it's called the Mangusta, being a mongoose. Di Tomaso had some association with Shelby, and they had a dispute, and that's when Di Tomaso supposedly built the Mangusta to beat the Cobra. It's because a Mangusta beats a Cobra, so that's what the word is anyway.
So where'd the car come from?
The car came from the States. Originally, it was from Italy. It did hill climbs in Italy in the early 70s, mid 70s. Then it went to America, probably late 70s. It was actually a rally car. It did quite a few rallies until it ended up upside down, and that's when the guy that I got it off, or I bought it off Pantera International, but the guy that sold it to them, he rallied it in the States and smashed it, and that's how Pantera International got it. Converted into a race car. It's done Monterey. It's done a lot of the good historic meetings all over the States. As I say, Monterey week and that. So it's quite a rare car, and something that in Australia, hopefully, a lot of people will enjoy.
So what are the plans for it? Are you racing in sort of eligible for Group S?
No. It's too highly modified for Group S. It was great for the Group S guys to give me an invite, but that's an M&O car, so that's not a Group S. It's too highly modified for a Group S car, but it should make a great M&O car. In the States, it was running against RSRs, Porsche RSRs, Ferrari Daytonas, GT40s, that sort of stuff. So pre-70.
After racing across a number of categories and classes of racing, Perry has over the past few years embraced historic racing as both a fun and affordable way to enjoy his motorsport.
The good thing about what I've been doing lately, it's they're running Ford or Chev running gear, right? So you're not up for tens of thousands of dollars rebuilding them and things like that. They're relatively safe and also reliable. So as much as the cars are quite expensive, the running costs aren't too bad, you know? So look, put it this way, if you were to go and do GT racing or something like that, I can assure you it'll be a lot more expensive. And with historic racing now, it's just a real buzz, a lot of fun.
Dandenong Showgrounds was the site for the recent Ute Nationals. Despite the restrictions of the COVID era, there was a good turnout of cars for this first event. The event was run as a fundraiser for the Victorian Brotherhood, a group formed to address the huge problem of male suicide and mental health problems. Josh Martin from the group spoke with Doc about what they do.
It was founded between two mates. Actually there was four of us. First idea started off with me and a fellow called Ben, and then we had another two blokes jump in, and I went through my own personal experiences in 2017 on a motorbike accident and struggled with my mental demons and done a lot of damage to myself. And then the realisation that mental health, it is real. Over the last 9 months, we're self-funded from our merchandise. Everything you see here, stickers, shirts, jumpers.
Basically a charity that's out there for everybody.
And that's right. So in 2020, we've handed out $14,000 back into the local community.
I saw that. Yeah.
We look after a lot of homeless people. A little bit, technologically not too savvy. So we do have a Facebook platform. We've got a Facebook platform we do have a male-only page with 18,000 people, and a public page which has 2,500 people. The content's not the same because we keep the male-only page to males. But on both platforms, there's links to the shop, takes you into the shop. I'm told that there's an Instagram and a Twitter account.
Snapchat.
I'm
sure it is.
I don't look after that sort of stuff.
Any twats? I mean tweets.
Well, yeah, there you go.
We're all tweets.
Yeah, there you go.
All good. Yeah. I'm sure it's a Twitter too. Yeah.
Through the main Facebook pages, both the Facebook pages, you can get on there. It's got a direct link to our website and our online store. We work in line with Glenn Munso's program. That's an addiction program. So addiction doesn't just mean drugs. It can mean alcohol. It can mean anything.
Gambling.
Well, that's right. So he runs a 21-day program, which we have also funded people from the page to attend that program. We run a Zoom room 4 days a week. It's run by Vaughan Williams. Again, not professionals, but just getting in there and having a chat with blokes and just telling them that it's okay not to be okay.
If you or somebody you know is dealing with mental health issues or has suicidal thoughts, please seek help from one of the groups listed on screen here. The show may be over, but the motorsport chat continues with Full Course Yellow, the In Pit Lane after party. We're on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel live most Thursday nights at 9:30, straight after In Pit Lane here on Channel 31. So, why not join us? Well, thanks for joining us here on In Pit Lane tonight. Hope you've enjoyed the program. Now, taking us out tonight is Mark Gardner and The Great Divide. Mark has been a friend of the program for a number of years now. He's been on a number of times playing various music for us, both in a trio and by himself. But this week he's got his whole band, The Great Divide, with us, and they're going to take us out with his new single, Walk On By. So until we see you next week on In Pit Lane, from all of us here at the Mr Boogie Man Bar and Channel 31, we'll see you next week. And here's Mark Gardner and The Great Divide and Walk On By. Good night.
Edge, see the blossom bloom on the inside. I hear mixed messages on the radio, and sky turns red. I walk on by and wait for you. I walk on by with you. You walk on by and take my hand. You walk on by, cheek to cheek. You walk on by, whoa. Walk on by, walk on. Vibrate to the possum by the moonlight. I hear mixed messages on the TV as night sets in. I walk on by and wait for you. I walk on by with you. You walk on by and take my hand. You walk on by, cheek to cheek. You walk on by, whoa. Walk on by, walk on. Walk on by, walk on. Take it right down. Footsteps down the park below. Hear the ripple of the waves out to the reach. messages on the radio as sky turns blue. I walk on by and wait for you. I walk on by with